Every Thursday, we check in with Kathy Helbig, owner of the Kathy Helbig Group. Good morning, Kathy Helbig.
Good morning.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the curb appeal issues that you should not ignore when you're getting ready to sell your house.
Good one.
People talk about curb appeal, kind of boring, you think, but not really, because if you take a really deep look of what that means, it's a lot more than just if your front door is painted. Mm-hmm. So when people are coming to your house, the first thing that you should really think about is not necessarily the front door, but what are they seeing before they even get to the front door? So how are you bringing them to your house?
Yes.
A lot of times neighborhoods have cut-throughs, Google Maps, Waze is going to take them in a shortcut, but you're going to go through maybe a much lower style neighborhood, maybe some yards that don't take care of their house as well.
Right.
So you want to think about that first and foremost when you're putting directions into your listing. Bring them in the most attractive way possible.
Sure.
Then when they get there, make sure your house is numbered correctly. Make sure the mailbox is in good condition, because that's the first thing they're seeing when they pull up.
Right.
Driveways are important. A lot of times we have cracked up driveways, or it's chipping off, those type of things. So think about that, because they're looking at that right when they pull up. Obviously, roof, you see that from the street.
That's the first thing I look at.
I know. So there
As the
are
man.
companies out there that do roof cleanings. Sometimes your roof is in good condition, but it just has those ugly black stripy, just dirty mess on it. So if it needs cleaning, if it needs replacement, you need to think about that, because most buyers are not going to accept a house that needs a brand new roof.
Right.
Also, door trim. That's really important. Shutters and trims around the doors and windows. So many times when I first walk up to somebody's house to go on a listing appointment, first thing that goes on my list is scrape off the peeling paint and repaint the, the trim at least.
Or the faded paint to the
faded paint, faded shutters, big way. The other one is walkways. A lot of times people, they've spent all this money on landscaping and then it's 12 years mature, but you can't even find the sidewalk half the time. I'm serious. And they're like, oh, but it's, it's beautiful. It's growing. I'm like, yeah, but it needs to be chopped back. It's like a jungle trying to get to your house. And so that's not attractive to have overgrown landscaping. So now is the time of the year, too, if you're thinking about coming on the market early spring, now is the time to get all that cut back so that when it starts to grow in early spring, it's going to look great. Easy access. Another thing, a lot of times agents will, a seller doesn't want the lockbox on the front door, so they'll go put it on a side door or put it on a bench or something like that. Well, agent gets there, you can't find how to get into the house, or they bring you in through the garage or a side door or back door. That's not the best impression. You really want to have the grand entrance when you come in the front door. Make sure your handrails are, if you have handrails to your front porch.
Make sure they're not loose.
Make sure they're not loose, but trip hazards are another big thing. Steps that are settling.
Right.
You might need to have part of your walkway mud jack to bring it up to level. But then really when we're talking about porches, that's if you have a porch, make the best of it. Like that's an outdoor space that you could really play up. So you don't want to overdo it. Depends on how big it is.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I don't know. I have a funny feeling now. No, I mean, put a cute little bench there or a chair and a little table. Like make that part of the living area, because again, that's the charm when they're pulling up to the house. And then lastly, just lighting. Like now's the time of the year when everything is starting to get dark early, and the beauty of a house sometimes is right at dusk when you're pulling up and all the lights on the outside of the house are on, all the lights on the inside of the house are on. Have all your shades open. Make sure your windows are clean. All of that makes a huge impression on curb
landscape
appeal.
lighting is so inexpensive now.
Yes.
That low voltage lighting, you can do it yourself. It costs nothing, and it makes the house look so fantastic.
So pretty, shining up on the right corners of the house, casting shadows from your different trees and shrubs in your landscaping. Really nice.
I believe they call that washing the wall.
Washing the wall.
See?
I like
See
that.
Yeah, see? And then crowd your porch with as much stuff as possible.
Stuff, and throw some barn doors on it too while you're there. Just lay those out.
314-276-SOLD. 314-276-SOLD. Interest rates going up. What's that doing in the market?
Yes, they are. They're actually creeping up a little bit in the last couple of days. So 30-year fixed conventional, somewhere around 5% right now.
Right.
I didn't look this
seeing
morning.
Seeing a little effect on the market a little bit?
Not yet, but it's actually can push some people off the fence when they start to rise low, but they're still low. I mean, in general,
Yeah,
they're still low.
No, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, this is the time of the year. Actually, we're starting to see a resurgence of business again right now.
There were people buying homes with like 16, 17, 18% interest back in the 70s.
Which is still amazing.
I mean,
to me.
I wasn't born yet, but
I remember they got when they bought the house in Arizona when we were a kid. I think they said that it was like 12 or 13.
I want to say right
they were like,
before I got
it's a
into
great
real
rate,
estate, it was
but before it was jacked up to the
12,
18s.
14 is what I remember hearing before I got into it.
Imagine 12, 14% for a house.
Yeah, no.
Wow. 314-276 sold or Kathy, HelbigGroup.com. Thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Thanks,